A wedding celebration, or a simple Wednesday night meal that you don't have to prepare, Chef James builds the platform for an incredible dining experience. And with a wide variety of styles and influences, you can be sure Chef will have the perfect menu ready for whatever your needs are. Oh, and by the way, fellas, looking for a romantic date night idea? Chef James offers private chef services as well. Think about it, just you, your significant other, and a beautifully prepared meal all in the comfort of your own home. Check out Harris Made Chef Services now on Facebook at Harris-Made, or give Chef a call at 609-816-5629 to discuss your culinary needs. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural NSS Live fan reaction show. Let me turn my phone down over here. It's playing off there. So what's going on, man? I appreciate everybody joining us so far. Looks like Will's with us. Josh Wilbanks, we appreciate you being with us tonight. And, man, who's excited? Who's happy that the Hogs finally got the monkey off their back? 20 straight SEC losses are now behind us. And we hope to start a winning streak this week, so really excited. If you obviously noticed the background, we are in the temporary studio here at my house, and we will be hopefully in our new studios in the next couple of weeks, so maybe 4 or 5 weeks, we'll see. And really looking forward to getting over to the Heart of Grace Outdoors studio here real soon. So, yeah, Josh, love it, man. So you guys, make sure you share this stream. Get all the Razorback fans in here. We want as many people watching this with us as we can, and we want your comments. This show is for you, and myself as a fan, but this show is for you guys. Like, I'm ready to do this with you guys out here, and let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the excitement of the fact that, you know, just 24 hours ago, we were getting set with a 20-game losing streak in the SEC, and Arkansas came out playing really, really well in this game, and we'll get into some recap here. Let me hop over here and take a look at the stats, get the stats up in front of me. So Arkansas plays really, really well, and if you listened to our podcast last week with Tyler and I on the High on the Hogs podcast preview edition, you know, I think both of us thought, and I actually picked Arkansas to win this game, but I didn't pick Arkansas to win the game kind of how they did. So, you know, watching this game, it was an interesting football game. It was interesting to watch as you really suspected that Mississippi State would have a lot of success through the air, and it ended up being really the opposite of that. I know Costello ends up with over 300 yards. I think about 40 of those were junk time there on that final drive of the game. And so, you know, Arkansas defensively was not how I thought Arkansas would win this game. You know, before the game, I think I picked Arkansas to win 45-38. I really thought this would be a high-scoring, exciting match, and it was. Or it never became the high scoring, but it was exciting. It got a little sloppy at times. You know, a lot of turnovers for Mississippi State. Sorry, I'm gonna get myself distracted here trying to go through my laptop. But yeah. So final stats for the game. We'll just go over those real quick. You know, a couple big stats that came out. Mississippi State ends up 6 of 17 on third down, and Arkansas ends up 5 of 14. So need to clean up that third down. The offensive side of the ball was still a little bit of a question, but boy, that defensive side, you're right, Josh. Odom knew what to do against that air raid, and you know, some things that I heard in the post game from some of the guys was, and I think it was Bumper Pool and a couple of other guys came out and talked about how, you know, this team, how well prepared they were. They'd never been prepared for a game in their life. So, and it showed. I mean, it showed really last week against Georgia. You take out about 3 minutes of that game, 3.5 minutes of that game, and that's a much closer game, obviously. This week we avoided the meltdown. So, really happy to see that. And Terry Roy, you're right. Great coaching. I mean, and Andy and I were talking about this last night, and then again I was talking about this with my buddy Wes. You know, it's amazing how how much better these teams play when they trust the coaching staff that's putting the plays in front of them. So, really, really, really impressive weekend for Arkansas. I've still got some issues offensively that I think we can discuss here tonight. That first touchdown drive, or that first drive that Arkansas turned the ball over on downs inside the 5, when Boyd and Burke seemingly got hurt, somewhere in that drive. I think we know for sure when Boyd got hurt. But watching, as that unfolded and bringing KJ Jefferson in and just the sequence that happened in that scenario, man, I don't know. That was a little frustrating. I had some words to myself. I think I may have even shared them on social media. I thought overall, I think that Briles was a little inconsistent, and so we had moments where it looked like he had the offense rolling. Then he'd try something a little cute, and we'd turn the ball over. So just tough there. And, Boyd, you're right. Boyd. So Terry Roy says Boyd looked like he had a quad injury. And I think – now I'm pretty sure he was in a boot, so I'm pretty sure it's ankle or foot. I've read it's potentially a hairline fracture in his foot. Hopefully, what is that, the Liz Frank injury or something like that? I hope it's not something like that. And so, Will says, replying to Terry Roy, only real complaint was the KJ plays at the goal line. And I agree with that. I don't understand why you go away from – it's not like KJ is going to make that much difference in that scenario. He's not a Tebow. He's not – he's a bigger guy, but I just don't see – that scenario made no sense to me. So didn't understand that. But other than that, I thought Arkansas played extremely well. I mean, you look at the passing numbers. Franks was 20 of 28 for 212 yards. That's very efficient numbers. And in a game like this, that's what you wanted. I don't think Arkansas wanted to put up, if they had to, they would have loved to have put up 400 yards passing. But you're not going to go, pass for pass with a Mike Leach offense. So I think it was the right thing to do to try to get the running game going. But Arkansas only musters 63 yards rushing, 37 rushing attempts, and 1.7 yards per rush. So still a lot of issues there. The offensive line had their moments, but for the most part, they struggled. And so, I'd love to see more out of the offense. Will is saying he thinks we can beat Auburn if our players get healed up. I want to say that we can beat Auburn too, and I'll give my pick on Friday on the High on the Hogs preview pod with Tyler Davis. But, from my perspective, it's going to be tough. Auburn's defense is good. It's a better defense than what Mississippi State runs out there. We all are going to have a lot of fun talking about their offense, but at the end of the day, their defense may be what is the difference in that game. And it's really concerning when Arkansas wasn't able to run the ball against, even against this Mississippi State team, which is not a great run defense. So, Arkansas kind of tried offensively to not win this game. Defensively, it was one of those games. We saw this a lot last year in when Arkansas, would struggle at times on the defensive side is once the offense just kind of let go of the rope and wasn't getting a lot done. So to see the defense stand tall time and time and time again, that was pretty exciting. So, I don't know, what you guys thought, what y'all's thoughts were in the game. And, if you look at the numbers overall, Arkansas had the ball for 23 minutes and 40 seconds compared to Mississippi State's 36 minutes. The big difference here, 4 turnovers, obviously, for Mississippi State. But, overall, statistically, 400 yards of offense to only 275 for Arkansas. Mississippi State wins the paper battle. So they win the battle on paper, but on the scoreboard, Arkansas took care of business. I was impressed with Traylon Smith. It was nice to see Traylon come in there. I'd love to see a little more Spivey. I know he didn't travel this week, but that's a guy that I think I would love to see a lot more of. And then, of course, Davion Warren had a big game, 4 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. That's back-to-back 100-yard receivers in back-to-back, or 100-yard receivers in back-to-back games. So, again, Arkansas was very, very efficient, very impressive. It's on defense. Offensively, still some question marks. Terry Roy, Chad Morris said full tilt boogie against Arkansas. I hope he does. I hope he tries to go full tilt boogie against Arkansas. The one thing that would concern me would be the linebackers. That is a concern. So that the linebacker position still scares me, especially in a game where Auburn's going to try to get into space. But Arkansas seemed to do well with it. Yesterday. Now, I'll say this: one thing to keep in mind and to think about is Kylan Hill goes out on the very first play of the game, and he was a huge piece of the passing game out of the backfield. He essentially makes catches that are their running game. And so with that being the case, I mean, we, I think, lucked out there. But again, not saying that's why Arkansas won the game. Obviously, we outperformed them without two of our best players. And when you think about it, Hudson Clark, a walk-on sophomore, is starting and played pretty much the entire second half in the defensive secondary. Some guys that don't get a whole lot of playing time. Obviously, we were missing our two best defensive ends in Dorian Gerald and Julius Coates. And so when you lose guys like that, it can hurt you. And so that, to me, is why it was even more impressive how Arkansas played. Also losing Busta Brown there early on. So that's a big loss. And hopefully, I know Pittman said last night that as of right now, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be long-term issues. So hopefully we start seeing those guys come back. Terry Roy, the O-line seems to have issues, but I'm sure Sam is working it out. Two things to your comment there, Terry. Number one, yes, the O-line definitely does have some issues. I think Franks was running for his life a lot at times, and Franks couldn't get to his spots in time. But the second part of what I want to say here to your comment is, I'm sure Sam is working it out. It's been a long time since we could look at a game afterwards and say we feel comfortable that the coach is going to work out any issues that we may have, and that's a refreshing thing to see. It's this Arkansas team is night and day different from what we've seen over the last 2 years. We've had some people that were really close to the program after the last 2 years that have told us to kind of tried to give us an idea of what was going on in that locker room. And so, now to see the difference, it's, again, night and day. I love what we've seen out of this team so far. So, again, you guys throw some comments in there. We got about 30 of you watching right now. Make sure you're sharing this, liking this, like Natural State Sports. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you like, share, subscribe. I think my 7-year-old may be watching us right now, so if you are, appreciate you, little man. So, so exciting stuff going on up on the hill, and agree with Will. Thank goodness we have coaches who know how to coach players up. And Terry Roy, I've seen blocking schemes that were non-existent last year. Absolutely. Saw a lot of things that were non-existent last year. Let me get over to the player stats. I know Bumper Pool had right around 20 tackles. Get this to cooperate here, and so when we look at the defensive statistics for Arkansas, leading tackler Bumper Pool, 20 tackles. Grant Morgan, now here I am talking about linebackers, and those guys filled the stat sheet up. 20 tackles for Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan with 15 tackles. And, for guys that, look, I've been outspoken and said that, I love Grant Morgan, I love the Morgan boys, and I love what they bring to this program. And Arkansas wouldn't be what they are without the Morgan boys. And so I really, really give guys like Grant Morgan a lot of credit. And at 15 tackles in this game and a pass defended. So a half tackle for loss. Bumper Pool with 20 tackles, 7 of those solo, 2 passes defended. So, I mean, when I see those kind of things, that's big. A guy like Jalen Catalon, who's my favorite guy on this defense, I've been waiting ever since Chad Morris came out and proclaimed him the best player he's ever recruited to see this kid hit the field. Chad Morris and crew screwed him up royally last year, screwed him out of his redshirt year, which thankfully he's going to get to buy back this year. And so that's pretty exciting. And then to see his talent on display these first 2 weeks of the season, Jalen Catalon's nothing short of special. He's going to be one of those another one in the long line of great safeties that are going to come out of Arkansas. 13 total tackles, almost double digits in solo tackles with 9. So a great game there. Zach Williams also had a good game with 6 tackles. And a couple of guys that I don't think we're really giving a whole lot of credit to right now. And I mentioned Hudson Clark. He only had 2 tackles, but he really played extremely well in the backfield. But another guy, Simeon Blair, another Arkansas kid. This is a kid that's was a walk-on, was awarded a scholarship before the season, and he had a big game. And then another guy that was really, really impressive, Joe Fouché, however we say his last name. That dude, I've loved Joe Fouché. Since the minute he stepped on campus. There was some drama throughout the week with him. It was my understanding that potentially he may not even play in this game, not even travel. And there was a discussion before the game, I guess. He was able to travel, gets on campus, and gets to Starkville and has just a phenomenal game. So, yeah, Let's see. Got some folks. Let me jump into the comments here before. I'm going to throw the. So I want to thank War Machine on YouTube. You guys, if you're on YouTube, hop over and give War Machine a subscribe. Like that page or like that channel. He puts out some fantastic Razorback highlight videos, and I'm going to play that here in just a minute, about 10 minutes worth of stuff, and we can talk through it. So Josh Wilbanks just got to stop the defense from staying on the field so long. I agree. It's been an issue for quite a while for this team. It's, Arkansas's had issues with it last year. And so, 100% agree. You've got to stop the defense from staying on the field so long. James Harris, hey, appreciate you sponsoring the show tonight. You guys make sure you give Chef Harris a call and go see him at Harris-Made on Facebook. Great chef services, great food. They're our go-to for for our tailgating and for all of our events. So we really appreciate Chef James Harris sponsoring tonight's show. And he says it's a great game. The players have a coach that they want to play for. And it shows, and it makes a difference. When you have a guy that you want to put you're going to put your, I mean, these guys, think about it. I mean, no matter what you think about COVID, no matter what you think about the situation, in essence, every time these football players step on a field, they are, they're putting their bodies on the line, and it's hard to do that for a coach you don't trust, and we've seen what the difference is when you have a coach that they trust. So that was big. Zach Stather, man, appreciate you joining us. Big ex-Hog, always a hog in our hearts, buddy. So appreciate you joining us. Let's go Hogs. Terry Paxton, what's up? How are you? Why is the second half so bad? It's like sometimes we start strong, but they can't seem to build on that and get better. So I agree. You're right. I mean, a good observation there from Terry, and it's been an issue. I mean, you think back to even Brett Bielema, this team had a lot of issues being able to finish, especially after the borderline erotic year. And so since that's happened, Arkansas has struggled, and some of that has been just the team quitting, the team not finishing out, and so I think what you saw Saturday was an offense that's still trying to find their rhythm. Tempo offenses take some time, and this team had no fall camp really to get any rhythm. And so I think that's why we're still seeing the offense be so far behind the defense. But it's refreshing to see a defense that played so well for 4 quarters. Appreciate the love there, Zach. And let's see, Carlos Stevens, Dalton, Joe Fusha was awesome. He was. And Will replied to Terry, depth, in my opinion, our starters are pretty decent, but we need a good second and third string. There's no doubt, absolutely. You can tell Sam has changed the locker room attitude to let them know he's the boss. You're right. And Terry, you make that point. I don't know if anybody, maybe I should have downloaded the video, but the video of Pittman in the locker room after the game was extremely impressive to me. Not, what he said, what he did, but it was the focus. And everybody was eyes on Sam Pittman. And I remember there were times last year when you'd see stuff in locker rooms where everybody was just kind of talking. There was no respect level. And so, again, great point there. This team, they respect these coaches. They respect what this coaching staff does, and it shows. It shows big time. So really, really impressive there. I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to start running these. Let's see. Make sure my comments are keeping up. They trust the coaches now, so now he will come back to win. Yep, I agree. So, and I would think that we would start seeing more of that as things continue on. So let me jump over here. You'll get to see my beautiful face still. It'll just be down in the corner, but I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to make sure you guys get some sound too. So hang on a second. Should have some sound if it's not coming through. There we go. All right, so just some highlights here. Obviously, Greg Brooks Jr., big interception to start the game. And let's talk about that for a second. We'll talk about this here for just a second, this play here. So remember the play before that, Mississippi State obviously fumbled. Arkansas obviously recovered. And they reviewed it and somehow still gave the ball back to Mississippi State. But ball don't lie, as Greg Brooks Jr. soon right thereafter gets that pick six, takes it to the house, and Arkansas gets an early 7-0 lead. And that was big because Arkansas offensively was already struggling, not moving the football. So really, really impressed with how that went. Don Houston offense missed several broken plays, and they did. And that's true again. And I think that's just a timing and rhythm thing with this offense right now. They are, this offense will have its day. I promise you. I trust that Kendall Briles will get things going, but this offense will have its day. There's no doubt about it. As we sit here and watch some of these defensive plays, I tell you something else as you watch these highlights that's really, really impressive. Arkansas, you see a lot of white jerseys swarming to that football. Obviously, that's we see that in the numbers and the number of tackles that some of these guys had. But again, great job there. Great job. That was a great catch. Can't take anything away from that play. That's one heck of a catch. Osiris Mitchell is a talent now. He's no Perkins, but that's a talented dude.
3rd and a long 6. Here comes pressure.
Chad's first conference and meeting with the players was where the downfall started. 100% agree. It's crazy. You don't want those things out when they happen, but no question, man. I mean, what he said and what he did to start that was terrible. So yeah, don't disagree at all. Yeah, they were rushing 3 and dropping 8 pretty much all day. Which if you watch the Mike Leach press conference, he never really. He said it wasn't anything overly crazy that they did. He didn't give Arkansas really a whole lot of credit. So, that was a little disappointing. But the one thing about Mike Leach, and it was one of the big reasons why I was not a fan of him being the guy getting hired for this job, is his teams are extremely inconsistent. And so this is, boy, Franks is not overly fleet of foot, but he can do enough to get you a first down. It was a good play there. This was kind of where it seemed like Browse had a little bit of momentum, a little bit of rhythm going in the offense. They looked really good here. Another big play by Davion Warren. So Brad Caldwell, Chad Morris didn't win an SEC game. Brett Bielema it took him 15 games. Pittman did it in 2. This is huge right here. I mean, okay, let's talk about this. Is where the defense seemed to really do some big things, was in 4th down situations with Mississippi State. Mississippi State seemed to get in 4th and shorts. Big defensive play right there. That's great. That's great job by some young guys. Simeon Blair, bumper pull in on that play. So this play right here, I think this is the back-to-back screen passes, if I remember right, where Knox makes the play. This was a brilliant play call, I think. Probably one of the best sequences by Briles outside. Right there, fakes the screen, then goes up top, got Hudson wide open for the touchdown. Davion Warren wide open for the touchdown. Great play call there as they went with the screen the first play and then pump fake the screen and get Warren wide open. So really impressive job by Briles on that drive. You see there because they hit Knox the play before and it washed the backers out, and then just terrible defense by Mississippi State, which is something that I thought Arkansas would be able to take advantage of more than they did. Big hit. Boy, oh boy. That's a big hit. I agree, Josh. Why put KJ in? 100%, man. I never understood that decision. Big play by Bumper Pool right there. Again, thanks to War Machine on YouTube for the video highlights here, and you guys make sure you go give him a subscribe on YouTube. But, yeah, I agree, Josh. Why put KJ in? Makes no sense in that situation. He was, Franks had some rhythm going down the field on that drive, and then you decide to make a decision like that, which ultimately cost you a score. Yeah, bad decision there. So, again, look at this. I mean, just flying to the football. Greg Brooks Jr. had a big game as well, obviously the pick 6, but played extremely well. Lots of pressure. Costello was never able to stay on a spot most of the night. He was running for his life. That play right there was amazing. Yeah, that play by Fuchsia was that. This is an incredible catch. And a great job. You see, yeah, I want to pause this for a minute because I want you guys to look at something. Hang on, my comments are popping up in my way here. I want you guys to see something here. Let me go back. Because this is a guy, again, I want you to watch number 17 right here, which is Hudson Clark, who's a sophomore. Hudson Clark is the guy standing right here out of bounds in this clip. And Hudson Clark has the wherewithal here to know that he cannot touch the football. This is a sophomore who's not even on scholarship, and he's making absolutely fantastic plays here. But, I mean, there's 2 things to this play that are really, really incredible. Obviously, the wherewithal of Clark, a guy who's not played, I mean, this is his first playing time, to know not to touch this ball, and then the catch by Fuchsia is just incredible. So great job by both of those guys there to make that play, and then you see the excitement out of Clark as he's, congratulating his buddy there for making a big play. So, Josh, I'll say this, Knox is going to have to be big for Arkansas. That's been one of the disappointing pieces so far to me, is that Knox is just, Knox has not really come on as much so far here early in the year, and they really needed him yesterday. And missing Burks probably hurt big time. Mike Woods, boy, that's a guy that can run some routes now. I love his footwork. You've got to make better decisions. Obviously, could have cost Arkansas late that game. It was the only reason that Mississippi State got another possession out of that. So that should have been, I think that should have almost been targeting there.
Let's try something
Let me jump over here back to the comments. Would not want to take anything away from the football team, but need to give a woo pig sue to the women's soccer team. Hey, good call, James Harris. Appreciate that. The women's soccer team looking really good here early on as well. Big win over A&M. And Carla Dalton says presence of mind. So, again, this was, let's see. Yeah, so this was that first drive of the second half. This, to me, was Bryle's most impressive drive. Arkansas had the best rhythm I think we've seen them come out of all year. This touchdown throw to Hudson Henry was just beautiful. Great, just a well-designed play. You pump fake, Mississippi State bid on it, and Hudson is wide open in the back of the end zone for his first career touchdown. So that was big. I was really impressed there. Hudson looked really, really good. And good to see Hog fans getting to scream and holler at Starkville. It's an interesting place to be. I've never been in terms of, obviously COVID, but we went a few years ago when Dak Prescott was there. Andy from our staff tried several times to buy cowbells, but no one would sell them to us. So Starkville's a tough place to play. A little different right now during COVID, but still a tough place. So this is it. Look at this. Look at these hogs. How many hogs are swarming to the ball? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7 hogs, 7 white jerseys right there. So great job. And, Hogs, of course, can give something up here. But, again, 14 points to a team like Mississippi State who threw the ball 59 times is nothing to get upset about. Arkansas did phenomenal. There's no way before the game you would have told me Arkansas would have held Mississippi State to 14 points, and I would have agreed with you. And this was, to me, great play here by Knox. It's a big play. Strength there to get that first down. Great job. As Knox dives forward, gets a first down. It was a big first down for the Hogs there. And then this drive here, Mississippi State. Look at that. Again, Arkansas just rallying to the ball. Bumper pull seems to be on every play. Grant Morgan on every single play there. So just impressive. Mateo Soli looks different this year. Terry Roy, they need to use Hudson more. Man, I agree. I think the only thing hurting Hudson right now is he's a subpar blocker, and we already have subpar. This is a great play by Fuchsia. Good night, what a play by Fuchsia. That was one of those plays I'm screaming at my TV as soon as Costello threw it. I'm like, he's going to pick. Fuchsia's there, and he gets it. So really impressive job by Joe Fuchsia on that play, and got his second pick of the year, and we'll start calling him Mr. Black Trash Bag because apparently that was what he was loading up during the week in the locker room. According to some folks, and then as of Saturday, he's in Starkville making big plays. So great job to Joe Fuchsia. Sometimes you don't need to trust the rumor mills out there. But really impressed with Fuchsia, really impressed with this defense, man. So this is where Arkansas kind of lost me, though. Again, trying to get too cute, you about cost yourself here. To me, this is what we've got to work on in terms of what Bryles is doing and how Bryles is handling this offense. Just getting way too cute. But once again, Arkansas, this defense, these were times in the last couple of years where this defense would have probably just packed it in. And instead, 4th down and 1. How often do we see Arkansas make stuff? We got fortunate here. Bad throw by Costello, or that's a first down because in that scenario, if you go back, Hudson Clark is backed way too far up off the receiver. A good throw there is a first down. So Arkansas got a big break on that one. And so we look here, Costello, back of the end zones. And another really good defensive play. Hudson Clark in on that play. So really, really good job, again, by some young defenders that we don't get to see a whole lot of. And in this play, that's one of the biggest plays of the entire ball game right there. 4th down, you got an opportunity for Mississippi State to tie the game. And what do? Arkansas stuffs them. And then this was your ball game. Arkansas couldn't move it. Again, 4th quarter, we struggled to do anything offensively. And Mississippi State just drops a punt. So huge turn of events there for Mississippi State. Gave Arkansas this victory. Arkansas had to survive here because of a little boneheaded move by Mike Woods. But, boy, I think my windows in my house were rattling just from me and Andy yelling at the TV when that happened. So, at this point we know we're 20 wins is almost 20 losses in a row is almost over. And a great job here. Great catch. Warren does a good job to try to stay in bounds there. Phenomenal play to get that first down. And at this point, you think we've got it clinched. And then here we're going to get a bunch of laterals. And Arkansas will just let this one play through.
And it will not happen. The Hogs find a way on the road. The losing streak is over. And what a win for Sam Pittman. 21-14, the final score. First win in the Southeastern Conference in almost 3 years. we talked about the fact that one of the keys was Felipe Franks.
So just a fantastic job by this Arkansas football team and this defense. Really impressed with what this team was able to do. And, we switched cameras on me. Hang on a second. Let's see if we can get back to the other one. There we go. So Josh Wilbanks bet Mike Woods got his butt chewed out by Mike Leach, maybe Sam Pittman. I bet Mike Leach was probably pretty happy in the penalty that Mike Woods had there. I get your point, though. Yeah, Pittman definitely probably was not happy in that scenario. So, all right, guys. Well, give me, if you got something else, if you got some more comments, let's throw them in there. Carla Dalton, you're right. Exciting times. 20 straight SEC losses are done, and now we're shooting for that elusive second SEC win in a row, and I'm looking forward to it. How about we throw it out there? Everybody's still left with us. What do you think? Give me your prediction for Auburn this week. Let's see how excited this fan base is. Just drop your predictions down in there in the comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen between Arkansas and Auburn. While you're thinking about those numbers, I want to remind you we're excited. So if you guys haven't been following us on Friday nights, I don't know why you haven't, but Natural State Sports High School Football Game of the Week. We've been honored to get out and call some games this year in Sheridan, Maumelle. Let's see, where else have we been? Jacksonville this year. So it's been a really exciting year in high school football. Last week got to see Arkansas linebacker commit Marco Avant from Jonesboro. We've gotten to see Maumelle with a couple with Andrew Chambly as well as Nico Davalier, so some big-time Razorback prospects there. And so really excited. Really excited about what we got coming up this week. If you missed the announcement, this week we will be at Malvern for Ash Down at Malvern, a big-time matchup, and looking forward to that matchup down there. We get to break in the new press box, so really excited about that opportunity to watch that game. Some good football going to be happening down in Malvern on Friday night. And, of course, you guys make sure you join Andy and I on the podcast High on the Hogs. That's High on the HAWGS Hogs. And you can find that anywhere you can find your podcast. Andy and I's pod will drop on Tuesday, and then Tyler Davis and I will get you primed up and previewed for this game against Auburn on Friday at noon when our preview pod drops. So you guys make sure that you join us for both of those. Hop over to our podcast, to your favorite podcast app, search High on the Hogs, HAWGS. Make sure you like and you download those episodes and shoot us a review. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Hey, let me know what you think about the show. Hanging out in my house right now, so hopefully we'll have our Heart of Grace Outdoors studio ready here in about a month, I think is where we're going to be, and we're really excited to be in there. So let me jump over and take care of a little business right here before we get done. And I want to say thanks to Harris Made Chef Services for supporting this show tonight and for feeding us each and every week at our events. Again, for all your culinary needs, give Chef James at Harris Made Chef Services a call at 609-816-5629 or visit him on Facebook at Harris-Made. And I believe, and James, if you're still with us, you may have to remind me, but I know you were having some issues with your website a couple days ago, but Harris-Made, I believe, .com is the website, and if that's back up and running. So go give Chef James Harris a call and get your any of your culinary needs fixed up. Oop, I ran too long. My lights went dead. So... I look a little less red now, though. That's fun. So, all right, guys. Josh Wilbanks, 24-17 Hogs. Eugene Miller, 24-10 Hogs. Evan Miles Bray, 3-0 and halftime leads next Saturday. I can see it, man. I love it. We're excited. So, any more scores? Throw me some more scores in there, man. Some other sponsors to thank for helping us out the last few weeks. Lost Pizza Company in Benton. Go see Chuck and his folks. Boudreaux's. And go see the guys over at Boudreaux's as well. Thanks, James. Says website should be back up this week, so we'll make sure we throw that on the website. So if you get and we'll get that on the website as well as on our on Facebook, so you guys know where to go. But very simple, Harris-Made on Facebook. Give him a like. Go like the page and hit him up for all of those culinary needs. So if that's it, man. I appreciate you joining us. I don't want to jump out too early, so if you guys have anything else, any other comments on the game, great game, really exciting. It was a lot of fun. And, any questions for us, hit me up in the DMs and follow me on Twitter at Steve_NSS. And, you can find me on the Book of Faces too if you need to, I guess. But I'm a lot more entertaining on Twitter. So come find me over there. And, man, this has been fun. I've enjoyed being on the Fan Reaction Show. This is my first one, and looking forward to many, 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 many more in the coming weeks. So appreciate you guys joining us. Until next week, Woo Pig. Harris Made Chef Services and Chef James Harris is the go-to for our catering needs at Natural State Sports, and they should be yours as well. Whether it's tailgating, a wedding celebration, or a simple Wednesday night meal that you don't have to prepare, Chef James builds the platform for an incredible dining experience. And with a wide variety of styles and influences, you can be sure Chef will have the perfect menu ready for whatever your needs are. Oh, and by the way, fellas, looking for a romantic date night idea? Chef James offers private chef services as well. Think about it, just you, your significant other, and a beautifully prepared meal all in the comfort of your own home. Check out Harris Made Chef Services now on Facebook at Harris-Made, or give Chef a call at 609-816-5629 to discuss your culinary needs.